Thank you. I declare the Council meeting on the 28th of October 2025 open at 5:32 p.m. and would like to advise that the meeting is being live streamed in accordance with the Council meeting's live streaming, recording and electronic attendance policy. By being present at this meeting, members of the public consent to the City live streaming and recording and subsequently publishing their voice on the City website. Good evening, everyone. It is a real privilege to be here tonight and to open this meeting as your Mayor. I'm deeply grateful to the people of Mandurah for placing their trust in me to lead this city. I want to start by thanking Councillor Knight for her leadership as Mayor over the past 9 months. I would also like to welcome our newly elected councillors, Councillor Owen Mulder, Councillor Jenny Green, and congratulating our re-elected councillors, Councillor Daniel Wilkins, Councillor Peter Jackson, Councillor David Schumacher and Councillor Ryan Burns. Welcome back. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge departing Councillor Bob Pond, who has made a significant contribution to our council and our community. Thank you, Bob, for your service. To everyone who put their hand up at this election, and I can see a few of the faces out there this evening, whether successful or not, I want to say thank you. Your willingness to step forward and help shape Mandurah's future says so much about your care and commitment to our city. I hope we can continue to work together in different ways, because leadership comes in many forms and our community thrives when more people are a part of the conversation. As many of you know, I grew up here. I know Mandurah as a place of incredible opportunity and beauty. But I also understand that our city is one of contrasts, a tale of two cities in many ways. We have people who are thriving and achieving great things, and we have others who are doing it tough and working hard to just get by. I have lived and worked among both. My own journey has given me an understanding of the challenges, complexities that exist on both sides. It's with that perspective that as your Mayor, I will lead with empathy. I will listen deeply and make sure everyone in our community, no matter their circumstances, feels seen, supported and included in Mandurah's future. My love for this city runs deep. It comes from the people who give their time, who show up, who care about their neighbours and our shared future. That's what drives me today. As we begin this new chapter together, my vision is simple: to work with our community, for our community, to build on the strengths that already make Mandurah so special, our natural beauty, our creativity, and our strong sense of connection, and to make sure that everyone feels they belong and can thrive. Our city's community plan reminds us that our purpose is to shape a vibrant city that delivers possibility for everyone. That's something I also believe deeply. I want us to keep that purpose at the heart of every conversation, every decision, and every plan we make together. We won't always agree, and that's okay. Healthy debate and different perspectives makes us stronger. What matters most is how we listen, how we treat one another, and how we keep our focus on what's best for our community. Every one of us around this table has been chosen to represent the people of Mandurah, and together we can achieve great things when we stay united in that purpose. I want to take a moment to thank those who've walked alongside me. Once again, I can see a couple of the faces out there tonight. My family, my friends, mentors, and everyone who's encouraged and supported me along the way. To our community, I promise to listen. I promise to show up and to lead with care. I'm committed to working together to continue to build a city and future that generations will be proud to call home. My role as your Mayor is not something I take lightly. This is my home, and it is a true privilege to serve the community that helped raise me. And to begin tonight's meeting, I'd like to share some words that speak to our shared connection to this place. Words crafted by George Wally, shaped through conversations and grounded in our mutual love for this place we call home. People have been here for a long time. I want to acknowledge their presence over that long time. with firstly the Binjarab Noongar people who continue to have an ongoing connection to this land. They have been here for over 50,000 years. This place, Mandurah or Mandurah, acknowledges a beautiful name, full of intent, of people living here and others visiting here. That intent gives us an idea of their ancestral land usage over that long period of time. Mandurah, the gathering place, is unique because even today we still gather here in the most beautiful place for many important reasons. Let us embrace the notion of people being in this space as we move forward as one community. Thank you. Apologies. There are no apologies. We currently have Councillor Peter Rogers online, is that correct? Yes. Members of the public are advised that any decision made at this meeting tonight can be revoked in accordance with the Local Government Act 1995. Therefore, members of the public should not rely on any decisions until formal notification in writing by the Council has been received. Answers to questions taken on notice. Please refer to the responses on the screen. Amendment to standing orders. Council's request to resolve to suspend the operation of the following provisions of the City of Mandurah Standing Orders, Local Law 2016, for the duration of this meeting to ensure that Councillor Peter Rogers can follow and participate in the meeting as it progresses. Standing Order 7.2, members to occupy own seats while present in the meeting room, relevant only for elected members attending the council chambers. Agree under Standing Orders 8.11 and 12.2 that instead of requiring a show of hands, a vote will be conducted by exception, with the presiding member calling for those members who are against the motion. If no response is received, the motion will be declared and carried in the minutes accordingly. Reiterate the requirement as per Standing Order 7.3 for members to advise the presiding member when leaving or entering the meeting at any time. Can I ask for a mover and a seconder? Yes, Councillor Knight, Councillor Smith. I would like to call for those opposed to the motion. No one's opposed? Wonderful. I declare that carried. We now move into public question time. Please ensure that your questions relate to the ordinary business of the city, the function of council, or the purpose of this meeting. Please note that this is an opportunity to ask questions only. No additional statements or arguments will be permitted. During public question time, members of the public are given the opportunity to ask questions of council. Council will allocate 15 minutes for public question time. Once this time has been exhausted, I may move a motion to extend public question time for a further 15 minutes. The City is committed to ensuring fair and equitable access to public question time. In accordance with Council policy, each member of the public who wishes to ask a question may ask up to 3 questions. Please, public question time must be conducted in accordance with City of Mandurah Standing Orders. Questions must not reflect adversely on the integrity of the City of Mandurah, including an elected member, city officer, or other party. Members of the public who have submitted questions in advance of this meeting will be invited to ask their questions first. Following this, if time allows, I will invite others to ask their questions. When called forward to ask your question, please begin by stating your name. The City will make every attempt to provide an answer. Where this is not possible, your question will be taken on notice and written response will be provided to you once the necessary research has been undertaken. This response will be included in the next council meeting agenda. I now open public question time at 5:41 p.m. and I would like to invite Colleen Gibson to the podium, please. Is Colleen here? No? I believe that we also have Karina Few for a public question. Do you want to come up to the podium, please, and state your name? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Karina Frew. Hello to everyone, and thank you very much for hearing these questions. My first question is regarding agenda item 19.2, the Public Health and Wellbeing Plan 2026 to 2030, which explicitly focuses on the themes of protect, monitoring and responding to public health risks, and prevent, reducing disease and injury, and specifically includes Action 2.3 to reduce harms related to alcohol and drugs. How does the Council reconcile proceeding with a high capacity licensed alcohol venue directly adjacent to the Coolunga Webini Playground and Mandurah Skate Park without first commissioning and publicly reviewing a comprehensive, independent child safety risk assessment as required under the City's moral and legal duty of care and the Public Health Act 2016?
Thank you, Karina. I'll refer that question to the CEO. Okay, I'll refer that to the Director of Strategy and Economic Development, please.
Thank you for the question. Through you, Mayor. I might start and then on the development itself and then probably pass to my colleague to talk about the Work Health and Safety Plan. So in terms of this development is occurring in stages. The specific harm minimisation plan and some of the more of the detail comes at the point at where we have a development application, so a development approval to what's actually being built. At the moment, we're still in an early stage where we're looking at or going through the process of excising a piece of land. So in planning terms, we don't have anything physically concrete to know exactly what's happening or proposed on that site. We'll only know at that when we get to the development approval stage. Now, when we get to that stage, I'm not going to try and preempt and what might be in any sort of recommendations we put in a harm minimisation plan, but generally what those terms will be looking at measures around opening hours, levels of security, signage as well, to help minimise the likelihood or any sort of antisocial behaviour, incorporating what makes the venue feel safe and for families as well. Now, there's the sort of principles that go into a harm minimisation plan, and just to hopefully reassure you, we're still at an early stage, but we do have a number of examples where we've done this already in Mandurah. So there are a number of venues within the city centre that are quite close to other playgrounds, some of which actually within the city have playgrounds within their sites. And in those instances, the harm minimisation plans and the measures that have been in place have really helped allow the venues to grow and be successful, while at the same time create an environment for where people participate in the local playgrounds and other areas as well. So on the Eastern Foreshore, for example, following the redevelopment, there are a number of venues along that strip. But we've seen the numbers attending that playground grow quite substantially over that period as well, and that kind of reflects a good balance that we've managed to achieve through the measures that we put in place. I'll stop there. That's specifically on the development, but I don't know if you wanted to add anything on the plan.
Thank you, and through the Mayor, the City has endorsed a commitment to child safety and wellbeing. The proposal on the Western Foreshore is not seen to be in contradiction to that, and it is complementary to the public health plan. The national principles, the 10 national principles for child safe organisations, which the City has based its child safe plan and statement of commitment, outcome 8 of that is around creating safe environments. And the proposed public health plan is seen to be doing that. The implementation plan does include supporting young people around alcohol consumption, alcohol and drugs, and education. And I guess when it comes to the Western Foreshore, it does propose to be a space for children and families with a variety of intergenerational activities on the site, including the chocolate factory, mini golf, and in fact it offers an opportunity to bring families together around meals, for celebrations, for gathering, for important family time. And the consumption of alcohol in a controlled environment is one that enables adults to model safe drinking practices. They're having a meal, they're sitting down over an extended period of time. The Commissioner for Children and Young People has undertaken some recent studies around mental health and around alcohol-related harm. The issue of proximity of playgrounds and children's spaces to licensed venues has not come through either of those studies and hasn't come through the city either in terms of our own data. Thank you.
Do you have any further questions,
I
Karina?
do, yes, thank you.
No worries.
The City has previously relied upon a desktop assessment and suggested potential harm to a child would be solely a police matter. Given that the current documentation does not satisfy a proper standards-based risk assessment in line with ISO 31000/2018, and acknowledging that a demonstrable failure in due diligence may invalidate the City's public liability insurance and expose ratepayers to significant financial liability, will the Council immediately commit to funding and commissioning the mandated independent safety assessment before any further contracts or development approvals are made for the Western Foreshore Leisure Precinct?
Thank you, Karina. I'll refer that to the CEO.
We will have to take that on notice, and the reason I will take that on notice is to give you a detailed explanation of that response, not having that being provided at an earlier date.
Thank you. Much appreciated. I
Do
just
you
have one more.
One more, absolutely.
If the Council agrees to commission the requested independent child safety risk assessment, will the City commit to ensuring the integrity and transparency of the governance process by publicly releasing the full and uncensored findings to the community and subsequently using these findings to immediately restart the formal public consultation process, thereby ensuring any final decision is fully informed, transparent, and puts the safety of children as the top priority?
Thank you, Karina. I'll refer that to the CEO.
We will take that on notice and provide a response.
Much appreciated.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much for your time.
Cheers.
Are there any other questions from the public today? Yes, sir. Would you like to come to the podium and just state your name before you ask your question?
Gary Buckland. Just on the situation where we're talking about welfare for children and all that, this is more of a situation that's developing.
Can I just stop you there? Sorry.
Yeah.
This is for public questions, so if it's a question, this is the right time. If not, would need to.
Yeah, well, the question is that you've got 2 daycare centres in an area where you've got compensation basins for water and you've got no fencing or anything around those areas. It's a question of maybe once in a blue moon or something that might happen, but the question is, are you looking at trying to the compensation basins, making them childproof so that anybody that was able to get out of a child mining centre is going to be protected?
Thank you for your question. I'll refer that to the Director of Built and Natural Environment.
Through the Mayor, if I could get some details of the locations of those basins, then I'd be happy to investigate that and provide a full response. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just through the Mayor, is it easier for me to contact you, Matthew?
Absolutely, I'm happy to do that. Yes, Mr. Buckland, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your question. Are there any further questions from the public? If there are no further questions, I will close public question time at 5:51 p.m. We now open to public statement time, which there are none. And now to the exciting part of the agenda, we have the election of the Deputy Mayor. I now invite the Chief Executive Officer to conduct the election for the office of the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I will now conduct the elections of the Deputy Mayor. The call for nominations for the office of Deputy Mayor commenced Friday the 24th of October 2025. This is now the final call for nominations or withdrawal, which I will close at 5:53 p.m.
This process will probably take a few minutes, so thank you everybody for your patience.
The nomination period has closed. Nominees will be invited in alphabetical order by surname to provide a 3-minute speech to Council. I've received nominations from the following elected members. Councillor Ryan Burns, would you like to speak?
Thank you, CEO, and thank you, councillors. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to my nomination for Deputy Mayor this evening. Over recent weeks, many people have asked whether I would be putting my name forward. After reflecting on the election results and the strong support I received from residents, I believe that I'm both suitable and committed to the role in the interest of the community and council. The strong community support shown during the mayoral campaign was deeply humbling. It was a modest grassroots effort with a strong engagement across the community, and to me, it reflected the desire for practical, balanced and accountable leadership in local government. Over the past 4 years, I've worked hard to represent our community strongly and deliver on promises I made when first elected, focusing on accountability, responsible spending, supporting small and family businesses, protecting our environment and getting back to basics with core services. The role of Deputy Mayor requires time, presence and availability, particularly when called on to step in for the Mayor over an extended period. I'm fortunate to not have a full-time job outside of council, which means I can dedicate the attention and commitment the role deserves. With my background in engineering and project management, grounded in cost control, delivery and efficiency, I believe I can provide practical support and professional balance to Mayor Kearns' leadership. Her extensive experience in community service and volunteer networks gives her deep connections across Mandurah, and my operational and strategic experience would complement that well. I respect that each elected member will bring their own perspective on what this role requires and who is best placed to fit. I only ask that you consider the balance and the support that I can offer, balance in representing the wider community interest and in support in strengthening the work of council. It's that spirit of shared purpose that I put my name forward for the Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Burns. Councillor Jacob Cumberworth.
The role of Deputy Mayor is to be the backstop, is to be the replacement. And tonight we will elect the person that we would like to see in that chair if an unfortunate event happens. I feel that I provide a balanced and collaborative approach to the chamber and to the other members. The role of the mayor is to unite the councillors, to form a cohesive group, to make decisions, for the benefit of the people of Mandurah. I've lived here for over 30 years. I am widely versed in the many different demographics of the city. I've lived in the south, I've lived in the north. I'm a very open, genuine person, and I like to think that I conduct myself with integrity. And that is my appeal to you and what I offer for you to vote as me for Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cumberworth. Councillor Peter Jackson.
Thank you. I'd vote for both of you. I think you're great. True. Look, of all of the candidates that nominate, I just think the fact that you want to nominate says something about the character of you. So it's a bit awkward because you just kind of want everybody to have a go. Why I nominated was because not that I thought, Amber, that you're not going to be there, because I want you to be there. And we all have a role in giving leadership to the community anyway. So I don't kind of see that I need to add anything to what you do, because you're going to do a fantastic job. I think the way I view the position is probably more from the perspective of being in the room. So I've been in here quite a long time, not as long as Dave Shoemaker, but seeing how the dynamic works, I think I've got an understanding on how to get the best out of the room, how to build bridges between councils that might have a bit of tension, and try and get the best out of the group that we are, because we all bring something that's really valuable. And we're kind of less when somebody feels a little bit on the outer or doesn't want to bring what they bring. They feel like that they're not safe to do that. That's kind of the passion I would bring to this role. As far as the outward-facing function of it, it's kind of what I do anyway. I've been in media for a long time. I'm on a stage every day teaching kids. It really feels like that. So I think I'm pretty good at communicating a message. I don't have a Peter Jackson message. I'd have a City of Mandurah Council message that I would want to bring. So in that sense, I don't kind of hold myself up as the expert in this field. Coming back to my earlier statement, you're all leaders in this room, and I think everybody would do fantastic in that role. I offer myself for the role. If somebody else is elected, then you will have my support as well. Okay? All right, that's probably all I need to say.
Thank you, Councillor Peter Jackson. Councillor Jess Smith.
Thank you, through the CEO. Thank you, Councillor Jackson. That was really beautifully spoken. And yes, if I wasn't voting for myself, I'd probably be voting for you guys also. So it's with thoughtful consideration and a deep sense of purpose that I sit before you as candidate for Deputy Mayor. From my observations, the role of Deputy Mayor differs significantly from that of the Mayor. While the Mayor leads from the front, the Deputy supports, steps up when required, and ensures stability and continuity. I'm both comfortable and proud to take on that supporting role. My greatest wish is to see our current Mayor, Amber Kearns, succeed and our city continue to flourish. When reflecting on leadership, I believe we can either bring people together or create division. I choose unity. I really want to see a council that is collaborative and respectful, a council that values differing opinions, encourages healthy debate, and ultimately builds trust and cohesion within our team and our community. I've reflected on why I ran for council 2 years ago and now why I seek this role as Deputy Mayor today. At the heart of it, my motivation is simple: connection, helping people, making a difference. I came back to one word, and that's service. That's what motivates me, both as a counsellor and in my career as a paramedic with St John Ambulance. My role as a paramedic is respected amongst community, and the work helps to keep me grounded. It offers me a unique window into our community, allowing me to see people from all walks of life at their most vulnerable, to understand the real challenges they face physically, mentally and socially. Continuing in this role helps me to stay connected, gives me a true perspective on what matters most, quite literally keeps my finger on the pulse of our community. Throughout my career, I've refined my skills that translate directly into effective leadership, remaining calm under pressure, thinking critically, managing stress, making swift yet sound decisions, having extremely hard conversations at times, and maintaining attention to detail. Above all, I've learned adaptability, the ability to adjust quickly to changing circumstances and unexpected challenges. These are qualities I bring to my work in the council chamber. In March this year, I had the privilege of stepping into the Deputy Mayor role, and during this time I successfully managed the responsibilities of the position, delivering keynote addresses on behalf of the Mayor, engaging extensively with community and balancing my home, professional and civic commitments. I've chaired the Local Emergency Management and Advisory Committee over the past 2 years, which has proven my ability to run effective meetings and facilitate respectful, productive discussions. I'm not afraid of difficult conversations or tough decisions. They are often when growth and progress begin. I'm really proud of the strong relationships I've built with our CEO, our executive leadership team, directors and staff, and I believe these relationships are essential to ensuring smooth operations and effective governance. I'm committed to upholding the City of Mandurah's excellent reputation while striving for improvement. So I'll bring the important characteristics of social intelligence, empathy, strength and a commitment to collaboration in this role, and continue to serve our community with integrity and dedication. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. As I've received more than one nomination for the position of Deputy Mayor, elected members will be required to vote by secret ballot. In accordance with the Act, optional preferential voting will apply to the election of Deputy Mayor. Ballot papers have now been prepared for the election, and in accordance with legislative requirements, I have authenticated each ballot paper. To make your vote, you are requested to write the number 1 in the square next to the name of the candidate who is your first choice. If elected members wish to, you may show more choices by writing consecutive numbers in the squares next to the names of other candidates in the order of their choice. Elected members are now invited to attend the ballot booth to make your vote in secret and place your ballot papers in the ballot box. The executive manager, yep, I have signed it, yep. We will do this in order. So, Councillor Shoemaker, we might start with you.
It's not preferential,
The Executive Manager of Governance and Commercial Services will now assist me in counting votes. Thank you for your patience while we count the vote. Council, we have just undertaken the first preference votes for each candidate, and there has been no clear majority from a candidate. So we are proceeding to the second count, and we are going to eliminate the lowest place candidate, but there are two candidates that have a vote each, so they are both the lowest candidate. So now what we have to do is draw from the lot which candidate will be the lowest, and then we will distribute that preference. So what I'll be doing now is from the put those two candidates who have the lowest number will be they have their names are in the balls, and I will draw the lowest candidate that we will then allocate the preferences. Prior to me selecting the ball, would anyone like to shake and rotate before I select the box or the cylinder?
Thanks for that.
I declare that the following councillors were nominees in the election of the Deputy Mayor: Councillor Burns, Councillor Cumberworth, Councillor Jackson and Councillor Smith. I declare that Councillor Jess Smith has been elected to the position of Deputy Mayor of the City of Mandurah for the term commencing 28th of October 2025, expiring 16th of October 2027. We had to go to the third count, and as a result, Councillor Jess Smith received 8 votes and Councillor Ryan Burns received 4 votes. Can I please ask Jeanette Islop to come forward to witness the Deputy Mayor to make her declaration of office?
I, Jessica Ash Smith of 18 Beachview Court, Wannanup, have been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of the City of Mandurah. Do I have to put my hand up? No? No. Declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly, faithfully, honestly and with integrity fulfil the duties of the office of the people in the district according to the best of my judgment and ability, and will observe the Code of Conduct adopted by the City of Mandurah under Section 5.104 of the Local Government Act 1995. Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Before I congratulate our new Deputy Mayor, I just want to take a moment to celebrate Carolyn Knight, who has been a Deputy Mayor for 7 years and a Mayor for 9 months and has done an exceptional job. And I just love the way that you do so much for our community without ever wanting recognition. You are a true example of what service looks like. And stepping into your shoes has been a big privilege because your shoes are huge. And so can we all just give Carolyn Knight, Councillor, a massive round of applause. Thank you. And I'll continue to learn from you as I go along. But now I would love to also congratulate our new Deputy Mayor, Councillor Jess Smith. Would you like to come take a seat next to me? Yeah. And once again, thank you everybody for your patience. We are now going to move into leave of absent requests. Are there any requests for leave of absences? That would be a no, thank you. Petitions, there are also no current petitions. Presentations, which there are also no presentations. And now deputations. Before inviting deputations, I would like to emphasise that the conduct of this meeting has to comply with the City's standing orders. So whilst elected members welcome deputations and are happy to hear your submissions, we ask that you refrain from using offensive language or making statements that are knowingly incorrect, misleading, or reflect adversely on the integrity of any elected member, officer, or other party. Deputations must not exceed 5 minutes. I would like to invite back Karina Frew to the podium, please. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you again. Good evening again, Mayor Kearns, councillors and executive team. So tonight, Council will consider the City's new Public Health and Wellbeing Plan 2026 to 2030, which outlines a strong vision supporting mental wellbeing, active lifestyles and inclusive spaces for all. These are the same values that guide Mandurah Heart, a new community initiative aligned with the One Heart movement, which exists to strengthen care, kinship, courage and integrity in the life of our city. This deputation focuses on a crucial next step concerning the Western Foreshore Leisure Precinct development proposal and its serious implications for Hall Park, directly referencing agenda item 19.2. So Mandurah Heart is a group of dedicated local residents, parents and elders who believe deeply that true progress should never compromise the safety of our children. We approach this council in a spirit of collaboration, guided by care, integrity and common sense. Our core concern remains the proposal to introduce an alcohol-based commercial activity, specifically a microbrewery and a licensed venue within Hall Park. This venue would be metres away from Kulunga Wabini Playground and the Mandurah Skate Park, a cherished, designated A-class reserve and historically an alcohol-free family gathering place. We maintain that placing a venue whose primary business is alcohol production and consumption directly beside areas frequented daily by vulnerable children creates obvious and foreseeable risks. When it comes to inclusivity, it also means that young people, teenagers and children who have backgrounds in which they have been subjected to family violence that has been a result of alcohol from this space. They will no longer feel the same degree of safety that they feel right now going to Hall Park, seeing drunk adults walk past them in the playground and in the skate park. It will no longer be an inclusive space for children and teenagers who have experienced trauma as a result of alcohol-fueled violence. I am the adult product of that myself. So I'm coming from lived experience and also through many, many years of supporting young adults between the ages of 15 and 25, primarily early school leavers, primarily from backgrounds that were very challenging. I just know this to be true, that it will change the character, the energy and the feeling of safety of that place for those young people. It will no longer be an inclusive space. And we're running out of those spaces here in Mandurah. There is also a legal and moral imperative for a comprehensive risk assessment. And Mandurah Heart believes that risk assessment should have been conducted prior to the consultation, because it stands to reason that had the results of that risk assessment been included in the consultation, it would have impacted the results of the consultation. We can't say how or to what degree, but it would have impacted it. So the consultation that occurred was not a truly informed process because it did not include those factors. When we're weighing up whether as a people, as a community and as a council, whether something is...
Only 30 seconds to go, Karina, just sorry.
Thank you.
No, that's okay.
Whether a project is worth moving forward on, we need to be assessing children's safety as the very top priority before we excise a Class A reserve or before we proceed to any contractual, discussions. So we are requesting that the council exercise the courage and integrity required to protect those hard boundaries that are there to protect us all. and we respectfully urge the city to conduct this risk assessment as a matter of priority and release the results for a restart of a public consultation.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Karina,
much.
for your time.
Cheers.
Okay, since there are no other deputations, I'll move on to confirmation of minutes. I now call for a mover and a seconder to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 23rd of September 2025. We have a mover, Councillor Schumacher, and a seconder, Councillor Wright. Is anybody opposed? No one's opposed, then this motion is carried. Okay, this is the fun part, the first time I've ever done this. So we now have announcements by presiding members. I will give mine in a moment, but first of all, orders of the day. We have Deputy Mayor Jess Smith is going to talk about the 2025 Emergency Services Volunteer Appreciation Evening.
Thank you, through the Mayor. It was an absolute pleasure to be asked to be the MC for the Volunteer Emergency Awards evening. I was joined by the newly elected Mayor and Councillor Wright. It was just a beautiful event celebrating all of those in our community who provide service, be that through the SES, the bushfire committees, the Falcon, the Mandurah crews. There was also some colleagues of mine, the volunteer ambulance officers, and everyone had a really, really fun night. And I think the award recipients were quite chuffed to bits actually. They none of them really were expecting the awards, and I feel like it was a really lovely opportunity just to give back a lovely dinner and appreciation night to those who give so much to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Smith. I now invite Councillor Wright to speak about the Youth Noonie Football Cup.
Thank you, Mayor, and through the Mayor. The Noonie Cup occurred last week and is in a big event. It's become bigger each year, but it's in memoriam to 4 young blokes who died out in Pinjarra, unfortunately back in 2008. So it's a long-standing community event. This year was absolutely exceptional, and seeing the amount of community support that events like this attract, it was wonderful seeing the City of Mandurah team present and just their passion in itself. Talking to Tim Hartland, who was there, if the rest of the City of Mandurah crew are that passionate about the staff that they work with, then we're definitely in good hands. But certainly the way they got around, spoke to many people, and for me a highlight's always seeing the kids obviously have a bit of a game. Being a principal, it's nice seeing kids from school, how they've grown up, and certainly connecting with a few of the crew who have been through Greenfields Primary School and are now well into their adulthood, and having a chat to those 3 young gentlemen in particular just shows you what great events the City of Mandurah put on or support, but also shows you the amount of community support that these kids get from their younger years all the way through to becoming adults and productive members of our society. So it's an absolute privilege actually to go along to this and represent the City of Mandurah and the Council. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Councillor Wright. And now I will move to a newly elected councillor who I feel has been busy communitying for the last 2 years since missing out 2 years ago on coming back to council, but you have not stopped, Councillor Green, and I'm super excited to have you back. And you will be speaking on the Barrio Fiesta exhibition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and councillors. Yes, it was a perfect afternoon to celebrate the Filipino Barrio Fiesta display and cultural exhibition at the Mandurah Museum. The event showcased an extraordinary range of music, dance and food, all of which was appreciated by those who attended. Those who attended, of course, were the Mayor. It was lovely to see her, and Councillor Wright as well. It was great to catch up with, obviously, with the new elected mayor and Councillor Wright, the City of Mandurah, and also Carolina Gonzaga Allen, who did organise the event, and City of Mandurah officer Tim Hartland, who was also known as the man with the money, apparently, and Jenny Harrington. She was known as the lady with the money because she represents the bank, the community bank. There's always a bit of fun when there's City of Mandurah staff around. Look, I'd just like to say well done to the City of Mandurah for supporting the Mandurah Filipino Australian cultural community, as it is these events that bring people together, and it was really great to celebrate such a wonderful, joyous event. They always seem to have so much fun, and they bring the people together. It's great to observe. It's so fantastic that we get the representation there, and also the fact that the City of Mandurah support this. It's such an inclusive thing, and I'd also like to thank all the volunteers that supported that as well. Thank you, everybody. It was great being there, and it's really lovely to be able to extend to you, the people out there, just how the City of Mandurah operates and how it brings these people together. It's such a wonderful thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Green. Now, I have the very great privilege of speaking about the October Local Legend Award. In Mandurah, we have many incredible people who do incredible things, and most of those things are unseen, but without them, our community really wouldn't function. So today, it is my great pleasure to announce the recipient of the Local Legend Award for October, a truly inspiring member of our community, Cheryl Ivey. And now I get to say a little bit about the extraordinary Cheryl. Cheryl is a passionate and dedicated community leader whose impact on Mandurah continues to grow. As the driving force behind the Mandurah Community Garden, she has built on the success of the Coodnup Gardens, fostering strong community engagement and expanding participation across our region. She is a much-loved figure at the Children's Garden Storytime, where her energy and warmth inspire children and families every week. Cheryl brings the same enthusiasm to every initiative she supports, whether it's Patch to Plate, the Long Table Dinner, the Grow Calendar, or other community growing projects. In addition to her work at the Mandurah Community Garden, Cheryl has stepped up to lead the Lakelands Community Garden after the previous coordinator had to step down due to health reasons. Her commitment ensures that this important space continues to thrive. Cheryl has built strong relationships with the local Aboriginal community and elders and maintains meaningful connections with Winjan, local schools and multicultural groups. She is a quiet but powerful force behind many initiatives that bring families, young people and seniors together to grow food, connect with nature and support one another. Recently, she has also taken on the role of mentoring secondary school students during their placements, teaching them the fundamentals of gardening and sustainability. Cheryl is a strong advocate for mental health and well-being, often supporting workshops that connect people to the healing power of nature. Cheryl is one of those rare individuals who gives selflessly to her community, which is our community. Her heart is firmly rooted in Mandurah, and her mission is clear: to make Mandurah, this city, a more connected, sustainable and compassionate place for all. Cheryl is undoubtedly a true deserving recipient of this award, and I would love you all to join me with giving Cheryl a massive round of applause again. Thank you, Cheryl. And now I get to give you and if you like, you're allowed to speak to us. If I would love to say, that would be amazing. You can do it at the podium. Okay. Yeah. Very good. I can hold this for you and on display.
Thank you. I just love Mandurah, and I wanted to say to the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor, councillors and City Executive and ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for recognising me. It's very unexpected and a very great honour to be recognised as a representative of the community garden, which I love also. Inclusive, intergenerational, community, connecting space, learning, and that's what we're all about, and anything that we can do to promote and highlight and spread the word. And I particularly want to thank Jude and the community development team who have been so supportive. You know, then nothing's too much trouble for you guys. So the City of Mandurah, heroes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cheryl, this is your chance to leave if you feel you would like to, or you can stay for the rest of the council meeting. It's totally up to you. No pressure. We won't even comment.
I don't think you've experienced it. I've very much enjoyed it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Me too. Okay, we now move to declarations of interests. Elected members and officers are now asked to declare any real or perceived interests they may have in respect of the reports listed for consideration at tonight's meeting. Should an elected member or officer declare an interest, I would remind them of the need to leave the chamber immediately prior to that item's discussion. CEO, have you received any declarations of interest?
Through you, Mayor, no, nothing's been received.
Okay. Councillors, are there any declarations of interest? No? Wonderful. Okay, we now move into questions from elected members, of which... No, we're not doing that. Sorry. Okay. We have had no questions with due notice, but I would like to invite any elected members who may have a question. Yes, Councillor Zolani.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 3 questions. Number 1 question is, can the CEO please advise whether the city is aware of resident concerns regarding the planned resurfacing of Cuvia Place in San Remo, scheduled to commence on Monday, that's been next Monday, 3rd November 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Zolani. I'd like to refer that question to the Director of Built and Natural Environment, please.
Through the Mayor, to the best of my understanding, the City was advised of those concerns today.
Thank you so much. Councillor Zolani, do you have another question?
Yes, second question. Can the CEO confirm what criteria or assessment process was used to determine that this road requires resurfacing, given residents believe it is already in excellent condition?
Thank you, Councillor Zolani. I refer that question to the CEO. No, we're going back to the Director of Built and Natural Environment. Sorry, Councillor Zolani.
Through the Mayor, the criteria for roads resurfacing is primarily based on condition and considers the extent, type and severity of defects.
Thank you. Councillor Zolani, your third question, please.
Third question. Can the CEO advise whether the city will review or temporarily pause this project to allow further evaluation before works proceed? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Zolani. I refer that question to the Director of Built and Natural Environment, please.
Through the Mayor, following the advice we've received today, City engineers will inspect and review the road surface condition before any work is commenced. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Zolani, is that all your questions?
No more questions.
No worries.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from elected members? Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you, Mayor Kearns. Through you, I also have 2 questions, but happy to ask the first one and then give someone else a go. Given that we are only considering the public health and wellbeing plan for public advertising, can I please ask the city to ensure that Karina's group are encouraged to offer their feedback as part of the community and stakeholder feedback period, please?
Thank you, Councillor Wilkins. Can I refer that to the CEO?
Through you, Mayor, we do have Karina's contact details, so we will send her the plan and ask for a submission directly.
Thank you, CEO. Your next question, Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you, Mayor Kearns. In light of the Governor's formal apology today to the Pinjarra people for the Pinjarra massacre, does the City intend to make acknowledgement or a statement recognising this important moment in our shared history?
Thank you, Councillor Wilkins. I'll refer that to the CEO.
That will have to be a council decision, and we will workshop that with elected members in due course.
Thank you, CEO. Are there any further questions from elected members? No further questions. I will then move on to business left over from previous meeting, which there is none. And now we move to recommendation from committees. There are also none. Before we move to the next item, I just want to confirm that Councillor Rogers, you are still able to participate online.
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. We now move to report 1. The first report is the monthly financial report. Prior to this report being considered by Council, I would like to invite the Manager of Financial Services to the podium to provide a presentation. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, presenting the finance report for September 2025, 3 months into the financial year. Just wait for it to get on the screen. Yep. Okay, so firstly, having a look at the operating revenue and expenditure in the form of graphs. The operating income on the left-hand side is operating at just above budget. Operating expenditure is operating just below budget, where we would like to see them. On the next slide, we have graphs for capital. Non-operating income or capital income is pretty flat at the moment, but generally we see an uptick towards the end of the year as we start completing our capital projects and start receiving our capital income. Capital expenditure is following the curve, and we would generally see an uptick towards the end of the year in capital projects as well as we ramp up those. A quick look at interest trends. The City has a loan offset facility. The interest we've saved through that loan offset facility so far year to date is around $42,000. And we are seeing term deposit interest rates attracting up to around 4.1% at this stage. A quick look at our rates receivable for September 2024, we were at 39% collected. September 2025, we are at 55.4% collected. This is primarily due to the rate notices being processed earlier this year, and as a result, instalment payments processed earlier, but we are tracking very well this year. For properties with a debt greater than $10,000, we did start the year above the prior year, but we have dropped below, and it is the same for properties with $3,000 to $10,000 in debt. That is also tracking well at this point in time. I will take the September budget variations as read in the report, and also the September 2025 tenders, but I'll also note that the City's procurement team observed the tender evaluation process and is satisfied that the probity and procedural aspects relating to the evaluation were compliant. Thank you.
Thank you to the Manager of Financial Services for that presentation. We're going to move to questions in a moment. Yeah. Okay, so we have the item before you on the screen. I move the mover and seconder first, yeah. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that report? Is there anyone wanting to move? Councillor Knight and Councillor Schumacher. Councillor Knight.
Thank you, Mayor Kearns. Look, happy to move this very comprehensive report, just noting that there are quite a number of budget adjustments there on the screen, which I'm sure everyone has read, and also just noting that unbudgeted capital expenditure of $50,000 for the Meadow Springs cricket nets, which is going to be funded from the state government election capital grant revenues of $50,000. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And now I move to Councillor Schumacher.
Thank you, through the Chair. Yeah, happy to move the officer's recommendation. It is great to see that the rates collection is well ahead of last year, even though we did go out earlier, but it's still a great thing. But if I could, may I ask a question?
We're going to ask for questions right now, so you can ask a question. That's absolutely
Thank you
fine.
very much.
You're very welcome.
Just and this is to the Manager of Financial Services, in relation to the tender provision of tree watering services, and it is the contract amount is 2.219 million for 2 years with 1 year option. Why are we not doing this service in-house if it's tree watering, or is there something more to this than I envisage?
Thank you, Councillor Schumacher. I refer that question to the Director of Built and Natural Environment.
Through the Mayor, primarily because the work is seasonal and requires intensive resources over a shorter period of time. So in essence, to deliver that work in-house wouldn't be, I guess, consistent with typically the work that we deliver in-house, which is consistent and obviously continual throughout the 12 months of the year.
Do you have any further questions, Councillor Schumacher?
Subsequent question.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chair. Have we looked at the comparison of doing this in-house ourselves against having it contracted out? Because that's 2.2 million is a fair slice of money.
Through the Mayor, the City hasn't looked at a business case for internalising that service for the reasons that I discussed, but we would be open to considering that ahead of future tenders.
Thank you, Councillor Schumacher. Do I have anybody wishing to ask any other questions? Yes, Councillor Wright.
Through the Mayor, just on the topic of Councillor Schumacher's questions, when does this watering start? And finish, for that matter?
Through the Mayor, the watering, I understand, started either last week or this week, and typically, depending on rainfall, will continue potentially throughout the main summer period. It may be subject to extension, depending on whether we have a dry autumn. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions, Councillor Wright?
And that extension is all built into that contract, I assume?
Yes, it is.
Thank you to the Director. I now ask if there's anyone wishing to speak against the item. No one's wishing to speak against? Okay. Is anybody wanting to oppose the item? No one's wishing to oppose? Wonderful. I declare that item carried. We now move to Report 2, the Public Health and Wellbeing Plan 2026 to 2030. Yes? Yes. The officer recommendation is on the screen. Do I have a mover and a seconder for this item? A mover, Councillor Smith. Seconder, Councillor Wilkins.
Thank you, through the Chair. Firstly, I'd like to thank the officers for putting together the plan. It's evident a lot of work has gone in. The City of Mandurah Public Health and Wellbeing Plan 26 to 30 presents a strong strategic framework to enhance community health, promote wellbeing and address key public health priorities across Mandurah. Developed through community consultation, the plan aligns closely with the State Public Health Plan 25 to 30, ensuring a coordinated approach to improving health outcomes. I fully support the plan's focus on priority populations and areas of need, structured around 4 key pillars: promote, prevent, protect and enable. The promote, empowering and enabling people to live healthy lives; prevent, supporting preventative initiatives that drive positive health outcomes; protect is managing public health and environmental health risks; and enabling is strengthening community health protection. So as my role as a healthcare professional, I regularly witness the significant impact that poor health outcomes have on members of our community. I am a strong advocate for preventative health and preventative health measures, and I really feel this plan can assist helping in that space. I commend the plan's focus on supporting particularly vulnerable priority groups in our community, including our elderly, our First Nations people, and initiatives addressing men's health and suicide prevention. I recommend the Council approve the draft and allow for public consultation, giving our community and stakeholders time to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. I now... No. Deputy Mayor, I'm the Mayor. You haven't knocked me off yet, I'm fine. I now move to the seconder, Councillor Wilkins.
Hard to follow on from the Deputy Mayor, but yeah, happy to support the draft of the Public Health and Wellbeing Plan to go off to community consultation. This plan aims to provide a strong framework to guide how the city can continue to play their role in improving the health and wellbeing of our community. I don't see there's any reason why we shouldn't support sending this draft plan off to the community for their feedback. It's an important part of good governance and transparency. And it also allows the community to have their say, which is incredibly important, and ensures that the final plan, which will come back to council, reflects the needs and aspirations of our community. So I support it going out to advertising.
Thank you, Councillor Wilkins. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Councillor Burns.
Thank you, Chair. Referring to Table 3, which is page 30 of the report, or 75 of the PDF document, I was wondering if the relevant staff could explain this table and why it's in here, and I want to understand what level of staff workshop this, and then I might have some subsequent questions, because it's fairly clear that staff can heavily influence these types of reports, as well as maybe the feedback that will come back from the community.
Thank you, Councillor Burns. I refer that to the Executive Manager of Health and Communities.
Thank you, through the Mayor. We conducted a series of internal workshops with members of staff across all business areas, which included our community services, healthy community, finance, business services, environment, planning, statutory planning, landscape services. So everybody was covered and represented within those internal workshops. And they were asked very similar questions to what we asked the community as well, but obviously putting a lens on it from what we could actually influence as a city, as city officers.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I note the very first point, planning for vulnerable populations to cope with rising global temperatures. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to the relevance of that and provide a little bit more background on how that is directly relevant to Mandurah.
Thank you. To the Director of Place and Community.
Thank you for your question. Through the Mayor, I guess that's really relating to, for Mandurah, some of the changes that we're seeing in our climate. Quite locally, that might affect us in things like preparing for emergencies, bushfire preparedness, and we've had a great example tonight around food security and encouraging people to grow at home. So people who have health risks may be more vulnerable when it comes to preparing for these sorts of events, and that's picked up in the plan, in the implementation plan, and is part of our alignment with the state health plan.
Thank Councillor Burns. Would you have another question?
I do. Just following up, this plan, if I read it correctly, is for a 5-year period. What increase in temperature is the city expecting over that 5-year period for it to be of such a concern for city staff?
Through to the Director of Built and Natural Environment.
Thank you. Through the Mayor. So one of the links back in regard to that particular issue is back to the city's climate change response plan. which basically deals with some of the issues that Jude has, the Director of Place and Community has just spoken about, effectively around heat island effect, that would link into our strategies around greening Mandurah and other sort of initiatives around that, the potential increase around impact of vector-borne diseases and those impacts, as well as those related to risk of bushfire related impacts as well. In the sense that in the medium to longer term, there is an expected increase around the risk to those particular issues in terms of the likelihood of that being within the 5-year window. Certainly, I couldn't provide any certainty that that's expected to increase significantly in terms of risk over that period, but certainly in the medium to longer term, there is expected to be greater frequency and issues related to those particular issues.
Thank you to the Director of Built and Natural Environment. Any further questions, Councillor Burns?
I guess I have a lot of concerns with your response, and thank you for that response. You know, it's very interesting for me that even the most...
Councillor Burns, it's a question. Do you have any further questions?
It's a pretext,
Okay.
if that's okay. Yep. I'm happy to stop if you don't want me to ask.
No, that's fine.
I find a problem with that, given that even moderate estimates show a 2 to 3 degree increase over a 75-year period. That's really the difference between 8 in the morning and 10 at night. Does that data that you have any specific data-driven forecasts, or is it just general, I don't know, a response to just general information that the city staff are absorbing?
Through the Director.
Through the Mayor, the City and City officers are generally guided by the state and Australian government around the issue of climate change and the related science and the predicted models in terms of what impacts that's going to have. Certainly from the state government's perspective, it's acknowledged that the science is clear and that Western Australia's climate has changed and that further change is inevitable. Certainly Western Australia is already experiencing the impacts of climate change, including more frequent and severe droughts, heat waves, bushfire, bushfire weather, extreme rainfall events and rising sea levels. In terms of overall, the state government response is in regard to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and adaptation and building resilience. Further to that, certainly the state government has a range of modelling, which is obviously available through the state government website in terms of climate change, and also links to basically studies through CSIRO and other Australian government agencies as well. So in terms of, I guess, the link there with the city's approach, certainly there is some projections in the longer term around what those impacts might be. I would need to take on notice the specific modelling around that and what that is predicting over the short to medium term to be specific around that. But in essence, the link back to the city is around then the city's environment strategy, which was adopted by Council back in 2023, which established the city's framework for its aligned approach or local approach for adaptation and resilience. And that links back to, obviously, the city's climate change response plan that I just spoke to earlier on, which is an action under the environment strategy and is due for a review in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you to the Director of Built and Natural Environment. I'm sure you may have other questions, but can I go to Councillor Schumacher first and then we'll come back? Thank you, Councillor Schumacher.
Thank you, through the Chair. Just in relation to the public advertising period, and we do have at times a very lacklustre response from the community when we put these things out to public advertising. And I know that we're doing social media sites. Are these the actual plan that going to be directly posted to all the organisations that have been involved in consultation, and all other organisations, rather than them have to approach us, will we be approaching them? And also with the our ads that are normally in the Mandurah Times are very small ads at the back. Can we do something a bit more half page or quarter page within the newspaper itself, making the community more aware of this matter and that we're seeking feedback?
Thank you so much, Councillor Schumacher. I refer that to the CEO.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I'll start, and then the Executive Manager of Healthy Communities will probably go into more detail around the specific local health plan consultation. You will see, Council will see, that we will commence the page in the paper. So we will ensure that the local health plan is included in that, in the list of engagements that the city is undertaking. And as you're aware, there is always a number of engagements that we undertake. Councillor Knight, she has attended many speeches over the last couple of weeks, and that was also something that she was talking about in the community around what type of engagements were up and coming. In the Mayor's socials, we will ensure that that communications is also put out to the community in relation to that engagement. In terms of specific engagement with stakeholders, I will now ask the Executive Manager to give more detail in relation to that engagement.
Thank you. Through the Mayor. We have a very comprehensive community engagement programme set up, and this will involve going straight back to all of the service providers, community groups and local, I guess, organisations that have helped us to inform the plan. So we will send that plan back out to them directly. We have a very connected health promotions officer who will do that directly. We'll also be working with our engagement manager on that, and we have a number of out and abouts. So we'll be going out to community with a community engagement toolkit with the public health plan, and we'll be having conversations. So we'll be out and about in community, and we're also looking to, so when I say out and about, we're looking at libraries, the Mark, public spaces, events that are coming up within the next month or so. And we're also going back to community groups when they have their meetings to represent the health plan back to them, the draft health plan. So we really are taking a very proactive approach to make sure that we get as much feedback as possible. It won't just be online, it will be throughout a multi-channel communication plan. Thank you.
Councillor Schumacher. I now refer, Councillor Wright.
Through the Mayor. Just touching back, sorry, to Mr. Councillor Burns's notice of that first question about vulnerable communities. And I know it's noted in that report that at the moment you don't necessarily have an impact or a way to measure the impact of climate change, but I am wondering if the city officers can give us any idea of how you may go about that. Measure who is a vulnerable community, because at the moment, who do we consider vulnerable within the city, would be my question from that.
Thank you. Community.
Thank you for the question. There would be research provided by state government and locally using different data sets around vulnerabilities for certain groups. So, for example, in May, the Australian government released the Early Years Development Index information, which assesses children who are aged 5 across 5 different domains, and they assess for vulnerabilities in that data set. So that is a clear guideline for vulnerability there. And we know there are different populations who face a variety of challenges. It might be disability, it might be whether they're English speaking, it might be background, and all of those sorts of differences might play out into an individual's health. Some of that might come from people who might have low literacy, for example, who may find it difficult to read health information and might need some support, or digital literacy in trying to access information online. So there's no easy answer. I guess every individual is unique, and most people would probably have some strengths and some vulnerabilities that you might see play out through the health plan.
Thank you, Director. Do you have a further question, Councillor
One
Wright?
more, please, if that's okay. So just getting back to that sentence, drawing a link between those vulnerabilities and climate change, is that what I'm hearing there from that answer? Or who is vulnerable to climate change?
Thank you for the question, and through the Mayor, if we were to pick something like an increased prevalence of bushfires, people who might be older and have lots of medications, are they prepared to take their medications? Do they have somewhere to go? Do they have a safe person they can contact to help them in an emergency, a flood, whatever it might be, a major storm event? So there might be some people who are less able or have less capacity to access emergency information as it comes out. So that might be an example.
Thank you. Councillor Mulder?
Yes, through the Mayor. Just following up on the question from Councillor Burns earlier, and in the response from the Director of Place and Community, the response I heard was that we have a definitive statement that says we have seen changes that we have experienced in our climate in Mandurah. I was hoping you could articulate for us what those changes are that we have experienced in Mandurah.
Thank you, Councillor Mulder. To the Director of Built and Natural Environment.
Through the Mayor, in terms of, I suppose, the changes specifically to Mandurah, I must admit I'd have to just clarify the reference specifically to Mandurah, but certainly speaking around changes statewide, certainly the state government has published information around the Western Australian climate having warmed over the last century or so. Basically, in terms of rainfall, increased in some areas and reduced in other areas, and certainly noted the impacts of that, and the number of days of dangerous weather conditions for bushfires having increased in nearly all locations. But to be clear to elected members, that is around the statewide impacts with some reference to the southwest, not specifically to Mandurah. So I apologise if there was any misunderstanding about specifically to Mandurah from my previous comment.
Thank you, Director. Another question, Councillor Mulder?
Yeah, through the Mayor, just to clarify then, so you're withdrawing the statement that there are specific changes that we have experienced in Mandurah?
To clarify, there would be specific changes to Mandurah as that relates to the entire state and the southwest, but not specifically able to cite specific temperature or other impacts directly to Mandurah tonight. Happy to take that question on notice and advise if there is specific data that is relevant to Mandurah, but certainly there is information that's available to the state of Western Australia. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. No further questions, Councillor Mulder? No further questions? Okay. Is there anybody wishing to speak against the item? There is nobody wishing to speak against the item. Then we will put it to a vote. Anyone voting against the item? Okay, I move that item carried. We now move, I just would like to first check that Councillor Rogers is still online.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. We now move to report 3, the appointment to committees of council. The item is before you on screen. Council should note that there is an updated city officer resolution for this item, which has been circulated to elected members in advance of this meeting. Council should note that there is a confidential attachment relating to the appointment of independent members of the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee. So Council is reminded that we will need to go behind closed doors if councillors would like to discuss the confidential item. So we'll start with Resolution 1, which is the appointment of elected members to the Audit and Risk Improvement Committee until the 15th of October 2027. I have received nominations from Councillor Cumberworth, Councillor Green, Councillor Jackson, myself, Councillor Knight, Councillor Wilkins. Is there anybody else that was wanting to nominate? Okay. Yep. Thank you, councillors. As there are 4 positions and 2 extra councillors, can we amend? Yep, beautiful. We will now deal with, there are no deputies. We will just need to amend the terms of reference. I'll just refer that to the CEO to explain.
Thank you, Mayor. Just due to the changes in the number of elected members, in the terms of reference that was in your agenda, it says that the committee comprises 7 members. We will ask for elected members to make the amendments to the terms of reference to have a committee comprising of 8 members, which consists of 1 independent presiding member, 1 independent member, with 6 elected members. There will be no deputies because we have not received any nominations for deputies, and there will be a inclusion in the terms of reference to include a deputy presiding member as well. So we're just going to write that up now, and then we'll ask council to consider the amendment.
Thank you everyone for your patience. Thank you, councillors. Included in that, we would like to include point 2, 3 and 4, and we'll also move to the elected members planning who are wanting to nominate for the Planning and Community Consultation Committee until the 15th of October 2027, which we have Councillor Burns, Councillor Cumberworth, Councillor Jackson, Councillor Mulder, Councillor Schumacher, Councillor Wilkins, Councillor Zolani, Councillor Wright, Councillor Green, with deputy being myself and with the presiding member being Councillor Peter Jackson. Is there somebody who would like... Oh, wait, typing them in. Sorry, we just need to get them in there. Moving too fast. Sorry, guys. I have a mover and a seconder for the resolution on the screen.
Hang on. Just skip. Through the Mayor, if I can just help, those elected members are correct, and there was a deputy of Mayor Kearns as a deputy. This is 9 members. And we'll have to also amend the terms of reference to 9 members with 1 deputy.
Thank you.
And just one more around the removal of the termination clause. Oh, it's in there? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay. Now I ask for a mover and a seconder for the resolution and the amendments on the screen. Councillor Knight and Deputy Mayor Smith.
Just if you could also insert the presiding member for the Planning and Community Consultative Committee, which is down the bottom, clause, which is resolution point 6. If you can please fill in Councillor Peter Jackson. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Knight and Deputy Mayor Smith have moved and seconded. While they do that, is there anyone with any questions regarding the item? No? Oh, they're coming back. With no questions, Councillor Knight, would you like to speak to the item?
No, just wishing everyone on that committee well.
Deputy Mayor Smith?
Through the Mayor, nothing further, thank you.
Okay. I will now call for anyone who's opposed to the motion to raise their hand. No. I declare this carried. Thank you again for your patience. We now move to report for elected member appointments and nominations. The item is before you on the screen. Council should note that there is an updated City Officer resolution for this item, which has been circulated to elected members in advance to this meeting. I've received nominations in advance of this meeting. However, we'll call for nominations from the Council, and where there are more nominations from councillors than positions available, we will need to go to a ballot. So we'll start with part 1.1, the Mandurah Local Emergency Management Committee, where we have Councillor Mulder, Councillor Smith and Councillor Zalani. So I will refer this to the CEO to go to a ballot.
Just a question.
Yes, Councillor Mulder.
Just to clarify how the two roles, the deputy role and the first role, work. Is it if I'm happy to go as a deputy, do I just withdraw from that first vote and we then have a vote for the deputy? Is that how it works? Okay.
Through the Mayor, there is still a vote for the deputy. However, if other people withdraw, then there would be no vote at that time.
So confirming Councillor Mulder, Councillor Smith and Councillor Zalani are all still wanting to nominate. Are there any other elected members that are wanting to nominate?
I'll withdraw from that lead role. I'll nominate for the deputy.
For the deputy? Yep. Councillor Mulder. We will still need to go to a ballot and I'll refer that to the CEO.
Thank you, Mayor Kearns. I'll arrange for the preparation of the ballot papers, which will be distributed shortly. When you do receive your ballot papers, please vote by indicating your first preference only for the position. When the votes are tallied, the councillor with the highest number of votes will be included within the recommendation for the Local Emergency Management Advisory Committee. The candidate with us, yes, that's fine. Yep.
You probably have time.
Okay.
Just as further.
Through you, Mayor, Councillor Jess Smith will be the elected member representative, and I will now call for deputies, the deputy for the Local Emergency Management Advisory Committee. Councillor Mulder. No. Okay.
Thank you, CEO. We now move to the Mandurah Bushfire Advisory Committee, where there is one position for an elected member and one position for a deputy elected member. We have 3 nominations: Councillor Green, Councillor Mulder and Councillor Zalani. Are there anybody else wishing to nominate? As we have 3 nominations and 2 positions, we will need to also go to a ballot. Thank you. I'll refer this to the CEO again.
Thank you, Mayor Kearns. There will be ballot papers distributed to you now. Thank you. Through you, Mayor, Councillor Owen Mulder will be the representative.
Congratulations, Councillor Owen Mulder. We now move to the Access and Inclusion Advisory Group. Oh, yes. Sorry. We are now going to do a ballot for the deputy role, unless somebody does not want to be on that committee. We have Councillor Green and Councillor Zalani. Are you both happy to nominate for the deputy position? Yes, no worries. We'll go to a ballot. I'll refer that to the CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. The ballot papers will be distributed now. Mayor, Councillor Jenny Green will be the deputy.
Congratulations, Councillor Green. We now move to the Access and Inclusion Advisory Group, where we have 2 elected member positions. We have currently 4 elected members that are nominating for these positions: Councillor Cumberworth, Councillor Green, Councillor Smith and Councillor Wright. Are there anyone else wishing to nominate tonight? Is there anybody wishing to withdraw their nominations? If not, once again, I will refer that to the CEO for a ballot.
Thank you, Mayor. Your ballot papers will be distributed now. Sorry, you will be ticking the 2 people that you would like to represent. It's not, it's your 2, because it's only first past. It's not preferential. Have to pick 2. Yep, please, sorry, I should have told. Mark 2 people. The 2 representatives will be Councillor Shannon Wright and Deputy Mayor Jess Smith.
Thank you, CEO, and congratulations, Councillor Knight and Deputy Mayor Smith. Right, and Deputy Mayor Smith. We now move to the Mandurah Environmental Advisory Group. which we currently have one elected member and one deputy elected member positions, and they have both been filled. One, Councillor Cumberworth for the elected member and Councillor Knight as the deputy elected member. Are there anybody wishing to nominate, or are we happy to move along with this one? Okay, we'll move right along. We now move to the Metro Outer Joint Development Assessment Panel. There are 2 elected member positions and 2 alternate elected member positions. We currently have 4 councillors, including myself, Councillor Burns, Councillor Knight, Councillor Schumacher, for the positions. We will need to move this to a ballot. Are there anybody else wanting to nominate? We're moving to a ballot anyway. Going once? No. I'll refer that to the CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. We will distribute the ballot papers. You have been recommended to be local member 1. So this will be a council decision. So if we will be voting on. Technically, you can both, if council wish, can vote on the 2 local members. That would include the recommendation that we put up as you being one of them. So I'd just probably like to ask council, at the moment, they're still going to have to vote both on the 2 positions, but the officer recommendation had included you, but that will be blank, and there is 2 positions up. So can you please mark as 2 positions? The officer recommendation was the mayor was 1, and that's the recommendation. That's the recommendation for council. But as council, you can still vote for either 4 of the positions for 2. 4 of the nominees for 2 of the positions. Let me say it again.
No.
Just to remind everyone that you should please mark 2 people to be the local member 1 and 2 for this vote. You can vote 1, 2, or you can tick. You just mark the 2 people. So tick or a 1 and a 2. Mayor, the first local member will be Councillor Caroline Knight. However, there is a draw for the second local member between Councillor Burns and yourself. So we are going to have to go to another ballot for the second member. Please mark only one nominee. Elected members, we're just waiting on one vote to be received, and then we can proceed. The second local member is Mayor Kearns.
Thank you, staff. We now move to the next committee, the Welga Zone. Yes.
Yeah, the alternate local member 1 and 2 now.
Yes. Oh, okay. Another ballot.
Nominations.
So we only have 2 nominations for the 2 alternate elected members, and that is Councillor Burns and Councillor Schumacher. Are there no other nominations? If not, we will have... Thank you. So we won't need to take that to a ballot. Councillor Burns, Councillor Schumacher, would you like to decide between the 2 of you if you'd like to be 1 and alternate 2? Councillor Burns 1 and Councillor Schumacher 2. Okay, thank you. We now move to the Welga Zone, where this has positions for 2 elected members and 1 deputy, the deputy being the CEO. We only have 2 nominations, myself and Councillor Wright. So we will move to the next committee, which is Peel Harvey Catchment Council. We have 1 elected member position and we have 1 nomination, which is Councillor Cumberworth. We then move to the Australian Coastal... Oh, sorry. Thank you to everyone who has hung around. Riveting meeting. We appreciate you. And to those online. We now move to the Australian Coastal Council Association for consideration of appointment. There is 1 elected member position and 1 elected member has nominated Councillor Knight. Wonderful. And then we move to the Australia Day Awards selection panel, which is always a popular one. There are currently 5 elected member positions. However, we have 6 elected members that have nominated. Can we amend?
Yes.
We'd need to amend it anyway. I think, yeah. We can have as many as you want. Yeah, we can have as many as you want. So does anybody else want to nominate?
All right.
It's a good one. Yeah, okay, are we able to amend that? Yeah, beautiful. So that's Councillor Green, Councillor Mulder, Councillor Schumacher, Councillor Smith, Councillor Wilkins, Councillor Wright and myself. Councillor Wright and myself. Is there anyone wishing to ask any questions? No. Is there anyone wishing to speak against? No.
We need a mover.
We'll move. I know. I know that's next on my list. Yeah. Oh, okay. Do we have a mover and a seconder? Yes, Councillor Knight. A seconder, Councillor Schumacher. Thank you. Would you like to speak to it, Councillor Knight?
Thank you. Look, I think we've spent quite a lot of time on this, so I don't think we need to spend any more. But good job, everyone.
Thank you, Councillor Knight. Councillor Schumacher.
Nothing further.
Wonderful. Okay, notice of motions for consideration. Okay, sorry. So sorry, everybody. As there was no one speaking against, would we like to move the motion? Yes. Okay. If you vote against the motion, please raise your hand. Wonderful. We will move that motion. Thank you very much. Does anyone wish to give notice of a motion they would like to include in the agenda for the next ordinary council meeting? Is there any late or urgent business items? There are none. As there are no confidential items. No. Minute officer, can you please confirm the live streaming has... Oh, no, we don't need to do that. Okay, that looks like us done. Yes? Thank you very much. This concludes our meeting. Thank you for your participation and support in assisting the meeting to run smoothly, although very long. I declare all business concluded and close the meeting at 8:22 p.m. and request that live streaming be terminated, please. And thank you to everybody that's stayed along.